So this build is about getting more leads for interior design using AI, and specifically referral leads, which are the best leads, right? I'm going to show you how we built the system, and I'm going to show you how the AI part of it might be a little bit counterintuitive. Now, before we do that, I got to talk about some foundational stuff, because a lot of people don't realize that AI isn't good all by itself. It's only good in context. AI is an accelerator. It speeds things up and makes things easier. But if directionally you're not correct, if you're not picking the right strategy for your business at the time, it's not going to help you at all. And so that's important to know, because we built this for the company I support. I'm the fractional AI officer for 1584 Design. And earlier at 1584, they were supply constrained. And that means that if you gave them more jobs, they couldn't take them on. And so what we had to do is we had to add operational efficiency. We had to add efficiency on the fulfillment side so they could take on more jobs. Now they're there, and it's time to talk about generating more leads, because once we made their capacity bigger, the lead volume through the pipeline became less than what the pipeline could accommodate. So we need to jack up lead gen now. What we want to do, though, is make sure that we generate the best leads for 1584. And up until now, our best clients have been short-term rental investors who came to us through property management companies and builders. So we want to go after more of those folks. And we don't want to just target these leads directly. We want to target the referral partner who can give us many leads on an ongoing basis over the years, because we can get one of those folks for the same effort it takes to get one lead. So bigger return, same investment. That's the idea. Now, the play is to create a printed short-term rental investor guide that these partners can hand to their clients that will build our credibility and authority, make us look really good. And I actually created two versions of this. One version was not very good, and it was missing a key ingredient I'm going to go over. And then the other version was way, way better, and it was including the key ingredient I'm going to share with you. This guide is going to get plugged into a bigger marketing system. We're going to be focused on creating the guide because we have everything else. We have a CRM that is patched into our website with a call request form, and when that gets submitted, automations fire on the back end, we're notified, and follow-up sequences get kicked off. And so for this guide, we just got to plug it into that. And we're going to add a little bit of extra attribution, because we want to know when people come in through this guide versus somewhere else. So that's the systems context. This sexy resource that we're going to print would be hard to make by hand. It would probably take weeks, because it requires a lot of knowledge about our business and our brand, and we have to make sure it looks good. So we used AI, and the key to making AI work, it wasn't the prompt. The prompt we used was actually super simple. It was like 17 words. It was just create a guide, basically, with a little bit of elaboration. But what's interesting is that if you just use this prompt, you would get this bad version here. This version that has a few problems, including the fact that, the budget that it estimated was off by like 5x. So we can't put that out there in the marketplace. We're going to get bad prospects, people who expect us to be super cheap. It was basically just a Word document in a templated form with placeholders for our company, etc. Look, I've gotten lead magnets that are just documents before, but you don't want to be putting that out there. Like, you don't want to be giving your referral partners just a stack of stapled, printed 8.5 by 11 sheets. You want to give them something that looks good and represents you and builds your value and sells for you. And so obviously that's not going to work. And then finally, it got the wrong audience. So it kind of addressed all types of property owners. And then it gave DIY design advice, like adding string lights in board games. And that is not at all aligned with what 1584 does. So we got to ask why this happened. And the reason it happened is that AI is basically a blank slate. Like, every time you use OpenAI or Anthropic or you talk to ChatGPT, unless you give it more context about you, it knows nothing. And so it creates generic results. The thing that most people think of as the prompt, the instructions, that's one piece. But the most important piece is the context you provide along with the instructions, because it only knows what you tell it. I mean, think of it as a brilliant employee who just forgets everything at the end of the day. So if it comes in the morning and you say, write me a guide, it'll make something that sounds okay. And honestly, like, this is not the worst one shot, no context AI thing I've ever seen. It's not terrible, but there's no way I would put this out there to represent my business. And so if you give it context, on the other hand, your brand voice, your pricing, your copy rules, some examples, it can rip through those things super fast and then produce something that you would actually be proud to put your name on. So in this particular case, we attached 10 pieces of context that we had already created for 1584. So that's brand voice, copy principles, services and pricing, some stuff from our website, guidance around how we like things to be laid out in print, what sections we like to see in guides, all this stuff we made ahead of time, and we made it so that the AI could discover it. And what I want to really hammer on is that with this same prompt, when we made it so that AI could find what it needed in order to make our guide awesome on its own, this is all we had to say. But without it, it created this really unimpressive result, as opposed to this thing that is branded to us, contains our work, contains compelling copy. It pulled from blog posts of ours. It pulled statistics that we had referenced elsewhere in our business folder to build the value of interior design. It has a case study in here. It cobbled together all these things automatically. It took frameworks of ours. Honestly, it rivals what we've hired some professional people to do in the past. So this just goes to show you that when you codify your business and you capture your brand voice, your style guide, your services and pricing, your ideal client, your SOPs, your life with AI becomes so much easier and so much more productive. You get so much more out of it. So I hope you found that useful. If you want to see more of this content where we kind of build things live for real design businesses, subscribe. And if you want a free AI strategy call to understand what you could do with AI in your own design business, you can get that in the description below.